Hi and welcome back to the FreeFormKnits YouTube channel. I'm Haxann Evers, a knit and crochet who's FreeFormKnits Crafting led to the world of design. All the places you can find me will be listed down below this video. If you're new to my channel, thank you so much for stopping by and crafting with me today. And if you're returning, thank you so much for coming back for another podcast. This is episode number 32, I think. I always get the number wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's the 32nd podcast episode. We are September 28th, I think. It's a Tuesday. The correct date will be on the screen because I probably got that wrong too. I want to welcome and thank all the new subscribers I've gotten recently. It's so cool to watch that number go up and to know that there are crafters out there who like listening to me ramble. It would mean so much if you could take a moment and comment down below on something you're working on. I would love to hear about it. The reason I started this channel was to connect with more knitters and crocheters because I don't know anyone personally who crochets and knits as much as I do, so I would love to hear what you're working on. So I'm coming to you a week later. I have a few finished objects and some new works in progress I'm really excited about, so let's just get right into it. The two finished objects I have to talk to you about are these two mitts right here. These were actually a work in progress last week. I talked about how I was in the process of filming a design with me video for these mitts. So I'll just show you. I have two full pairs. One is a fingerless option, one is a mitten option. And these mitts are worsted weight yarn. Both of these were knit out of I Love This yarn in two different colorways. I know this one was ivory. I'm not sure about this one. And they feature this really fun and surprisingly simple cable pattern that I am obsessed with. I love these so much. So I hope to have this pattern out coming next month, and there will be a whole video talking about the design process, and you get to come along with that journey with me of designing it. It was so much fun to film, and it's just really a fun, simple pattern. So all the details surrounding these mitts will be coming next month. Have a lot to figure out for them, but it's gonna be so cool. I just love this cable. It's got some moss stitch in the center. Oh, it's so much fun. I love it so much. I knit mine on a 9 5.5mm needle. Worsted weight yarn. They work up so fast. Each of these gloves, like, had I just worked on them like straight, I could have gotten a whole pair done in a day. Especially with the cable. Like, you'd think a cable would slow you down. No, it just shows you how fast your work grows. It's so much fun, and this cable, oh, it's blowing up. Here, let me show her in the blue. This cable is so much fun, and it just, oh, it's so great. I'm so excited for this pattern and can't wait to show it with you all. I'm sitting here thinking, I have another finished object, don't I? And I do. It's sitting up on my table because I always put them there and forget that I have them, so I have to grab that. My next finished object are these pair of socks. These were work in progress last time. I had one done and was working on the second. I always put my finished socks on my blockers. These are the Knit Pick sock blockers in the medium size. I always put them on here and put them on my table to kind of display them, you know, kind of be proud I finished another pair of socks. And then for some reason I sit down to podcast and I forget that they're there even though they're right in front of me. So this is a DK weight pair of socks. I used my Delightful Knit socks pattern. That's a DK weight sock pattern. It has 5 sizes. It comes with my shortcut heel in both the stockinette and garter stitch option. You can find it in my Ravelry Shop. I'll have a link to my Ravelry Shop down below. And I just did the vanilla option. There are 3 options in the pattern for patterning, and I just did the vanilla. So much fun. I didn't even take the stitch markers off of this. I always put here they are, these clipping markers, these light bulb ones, while I'm working on the socks, just to mark the end of my cuff, my heel, and then the start of my foot, just so I can double check to make sure that I'm putting the right amount of rows. I used to mark every 10 rows with my socks, but it used up too many markers and I didn't want to always grab them, so I just mark while I'm knitting. Like, I'll mark 15 and then 20 and then 25 all with the same marker. So I just use one marker, or you know, 2, so I can mark the different, you know, the end of my leg, the start of my heel, the start of my foot. Just so I can make sure the second sock will match. Get those markers out of here. Here are the socks. I knit these on a US 5 needle, which is a 4mm needle, I think. No, it's 3.75mm. 5 US 5 3.75mm needle. I think I called it a 5mm needle last episode, but it is a US 5 3.75mm. That's the needle size I use. And the yarn is Yarn Bee Sweet Delight or Baby Bee. I don't think I have the tag anymore. I think it's Sweet Delight in the Teddy Bear Cuddles colorway, and it's just so pretty. I love this colorway. They don't match because I didn't care when I started the second one. And they're just really nice. It was really nice to knit a plain vanilla sock. Again, I haven't done that in a while, and I'm kind of on a DK weight sock kick, and I need to get more DK weight yarn because I don't have full skeins of DK weight lying around anymore. So I gotta do that. But really nice. I knit the 4th size in my pattern, so that's all the details about these socks. So that's 3 finished objects. That's pretty good. Did I have any finished objects last week? I don't think I did. Or maybe I did. Yes, I did. The sweater? Yes, I finished the cardigan. That was a big finished object. So yeah, but nice to have those projects done. I've been wanting to make those gloves and that pair of socks for a while, so it's nice to have that completed. Okay, now we're moving on into whips, and we'll start with this one because this was a whip last time. This is my Cafe au Lait cardigan, which is a pattern by Hooked on Homemade Happiness. It's a free pattern on their blog, or you can purchase the ad-free PDF download. And here I am. So I think I've run out of yarn. I did find this skein in my stash, and I think it's Rosewater because I'm knitting this out of Yarn Bee ID in the Rosewater colorway. And I think this is the same. It looks the same, kind of. It's a different shade, but I don't know if that's the dye lot. So yeah, I should probably just wait until I can buy more. I don't know what else this would be. I also have, okay, these two are scraps and part of another whip I'm working on, but you can see I have a thing with the shade of pink. I don't know what else these would be if they're not Rosewater. Like these two especially, they probably are. They're just different dye lots. I can't think of what other brand of yarn they would be. This one is probably, I love this yarn, but I don't know. So I put this aside because I was tempted. I was like, oh, maybe this is Rosewater, and it probably is, but I think it's too obvious a difference. It doesn't seem that obvious on camera, but, well, you know, I am working on the hem of the cardigan. I finished the body, and I had enough to do the bottom ribbing, and now I had just started the button band ribbing. There's no buttons, but like the collar ribbing, and I ran out, so I'm tempted to just use this for it because I have this in my stash, because I don't know when I'll be able to get more of this colorway, and even if I do get, when I do get more of this colorway, it's going to be a different dye lot. There's just no way around that. So I don't know, maybe I'll do that. I'm not sure. I'm making this on a 6mm hook. I literally just seen the shoulders today and did this ribbing tonight. This is actually my first time doing successfully an applied ribbing, like properly, a proper crochet rib and it's just done directly on the work. I always messed it up in the past, and I actually while doing this had to really pay attention to where I'm putting the stitches. I always have to do the slip stitches like further into the work than I think I do, because it was like not pulling in all the way. Like here it's not as neat, it's kind of loose over here, and then I got better and it looks proper. So yeah, this is actually, I'm really excited about this cardigan. I think I'm going to love it when it's done. It's my first time trying it on. Yeah, I love it so much. I can't stand up because I'm awkwardly situated on the floor, but it's a very long. This is, if you watched last week's podcast, you know that long story short, this cardigan is done side to side. Like you start here, you crochet this away, and then you end over here. It's done side to side. I highly recommend the pattern, but just keep in mind it's done side to side. Trust the pattern, it's done side to side. But I love it. I figured for the pockets, I probably will, I saw in the pattern that you have to do that she calls for doing the pockets in this texture, like the eyelet texture. I'm probably not going to do it in the eyelet texture. I'm probably just going to do half double crochets, and I won't be mad if I have to do it in a contrasting color. Maybe I'll do the pockets in this and see how it looks worked up. See if the contrast is so noticeable that I won't want to do it for the hem. That's an idea. So the more I look at this, the more I'm... No, this is a totally different color. I don't think this is Yarn Bead ID. I have no idea what yarn line this is because it doesn't feel like I love this yarn. I don't know. I don't know what this could be. No idea. I still might do the pockets in that just because I don't know when I'm going to be able to get more of the yarn I need for this cardigan, and I kind of don't want to leave it sitting, but I might have to. Look how long this is. Oh, it's so beautiful. I can't wait to finish it and wear it all the time. Oh, it's in the frame again. I find that distracting. This is also in the frame. This is a bucket of things I need to frog. And actually, while we're on the subject, things we're frogging. Yeah, we're frogging this, the Moon of My Life sweater. I said last episode that I wasn't going to frog it. I was only going to frog it if I tried it on and didn't like the fit anymore. Otherwise, I would be good and fix the debacle with the different yarn, the whole mystery. But I've decided I'm going to frog it. I did try it on. It does fit. The reason I'm frogging it is that while it does fit, it's just not, I don't like how it looks on me. It fits, but how it lays on me, the way the color work looks on me, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't feel good in it. I think just with, like, this is smaller than I typically make my sweaters. When I make a sweater, especially a circular yoke sweater, I just kind of make it oversized because I love how it looks. I love how it feels, just like a big comfy sweatshirt. This is, while it does fit, it's smaller than I typically make my sweaters. And just the way the color work lays, it kind of doesn't look good on my body. I don't feel confident in it. I don't feel comfortable in it. It just kind of makes me feel big up here, which I am compared to the rest of my body. I don't like that look for me personally. I don't like it. I want just a big comfy circular yoke sweater, and this is not it, so that's okay. I'm gonna frog it, and this poor yarn, I'm gonna frog it and find a good project for it, because this is the third time that I'm trying to find a new project for this yarn, so that's the story of this. There's a very big cricket right in front of me. I hate bugs. Welcome to rainy weather in the basement. That's what you get ugly bugs. Ugh. Ugh. Okay. And I have all my stuff on the floor. Okay. It's fine. Ugh. moving on. Getting as much as I can off the floor because I feel the urge to vacuum. I'm just gonna clean up a little bit. Hold, please. Okay, it's fine. Bugs are part of life, unfortunately. Okay, at least I didn't hop away. Alright, moving on, if we can. I have 3 whips to talk about. So, first one we'll talk about is this one. I am knitting a pair of socks, fingering weight. Very surprising, I haven't knit a pair of finger weight socks in, gosh, maybe a month now. Wow, that's quite a revelation. A month, maybe more. I don't have a lot of fingering weight yarn. I've talked about this before, so my enthusiasm for, not my enthusiasm, my ability to make fingering weight socks is hard, right? Words. But I have enough yarn to make not full pairs, but a shorty pair and only 1 sock per pair. Here's my sock so far. This is the design, and this is going to be my princess cuff shorties. And you might recognize these socks. I showed them off in episodes past, months ago now probably. And it is these shorties, and I did one in 2 different colors. They're solid socks, but I'm mismatching because that's okay. And they're really simple with this garter ridge, my shortcut heel, and this cuff, picot edge cuff. I love it so much. I also got my hat trick toe. I love them so much. They're so pretty. And I am making another pair. I just finished filming a tutorial for this pattern to show you the 2 different ways to complete picot cuff. And so here's the sock I did for the sample for the tutorial, and I'm just gonna chip away at this. So I'm making this sock out of Knit Pictorial Tonal in the Mocha colorway. And I think I picked out, where is it? Here it is. This is Knit Pic's Hawthorn. I don't remember the colorway, but this is actually a different base, and I think I'm going to make the next sock in this one just because they're both brown and because I want to see how much I like the Hawthorn. I had a full skein of this. I knit a pair of socks. I can't remember how I like them. It's an 80-20 base, 80% superwash merino wool, 20% nylon, compared to the 75% superwash merino wool, 25% nylon. And I want to knit with it again to see how I like it, because I can't decide if I want more Hawthorn in my life. So I think I'm going to do the next pair, the next sock for this pair in this. These socks, each of these only took 22 grams, and that's my regular 64 stitch sock. So that's great, because if you make a full pair of socks, like with a regular 100 gram skein, you make it really long, I typically end up with like 40 grams around there. Like if I don't think about how long I'm making them and not conscious of that, like trying to get 2 pairs out of 1 full skein, which I could, but if I just want to knit a pair of socks, then I typically end up with around 40 grams of yarn, and then maybe I'll use some of that yarn for heels, toes, and cuffs, and then I can still make a 1 sock, you know? So yeah, they're really fun. I made these ages ago, and I'm really excited to be working on the pattern for these. So yeah, put those up there out of the suspicious bug zone. It's just having a basement. I'm in, this is where my workspace is, in the basement, so bugs are part of it. Especially we've been having some storms come over, so it gets rainy and damp, and the bugs are looking for a place to be. Oh well, and this is my little sock sack bag. This is one I made myself. Pretty fabric, nice zipper, nice handle. It's actually a measuring tape too, which is really handy. So yeah, that's that. Work in progress. I started that today. That's why it's not very far. I also wasn't like really, just wanted to get the cuff done so I could film the tutorial, which I did. So that's good. Okay, and actually all of these whips I've started today, other than the Rosewater cardigan, the Cafe All cardigan. Just keep calling it Rosewater because that's the colorway that I am obsessed with. Okay, so next we'll talk about, well, speaking of tutorials, I started this. So, okay, let me grab the finished shawl. So ages ago, I crocheted this shawl. I don't even know if I showed this off on the podcast ever, but it is this big granny striped shawl. It's a triangle. Oh, it wears so nicely. Fits perfectly on your neck. I put big old tassels on it. This sample was made out of Yarn Bee Sugarwood cotton. You can actually see the flecks of cotton flying in the air in front of me. Okay. And it's a really nice, it's a fingering weight cotton, and it crocheted up so nicely, and it's just a granny stripe shawl. Triangle shape. And this cotton was actually self-striping. I think I used 2 skeins. I think, like, this was 1 skein, this was another skein, something like that. And so I am getting the pattern ready for release, and I actually filmed a tutorial for this too. And so this is my sample that I started for the tutorial. I literally just started this, like, not even, maybe an hour ago now. And yeah, and this is actually, the sample is made out of fingering weight. This is better because it's a shawl, top-down triangle. You can do it out of any weight. And I have worsted with a H-hook, 5mm hook. I think it's an H. And I'm actually doing it out of these colors. It's kind of like a purple to pink fade type thing, because apparently I like these colors more than I think I do. I'm trying to hold them in the right order. Can you see that? So it's going to go to start with this dark purple and just fade into, well, not fade, just stripe it. Just use it up until the color is done. And that's what I'm going to do for this. Use up these scraps. I'm dropping yarn. These 3 are actually what I used for my Beyond the Double collection, cowl collection. These are the Brava worsted scraps. So really excited to have them in this shawl. It's going to be great. Yeah, this will be very quick, I imagine. Just something to work at to get my crochet fix, since I can't work on that cardigan for a while. Alright, that's that whip. I'm gonna put that back in a bag just because I hope I remember the order of color progression. I think I will, but it's all in this bag. So this is another project bag I sewed. It's got these stretchy handles, which I don't love, but it's all I had at the time. So yeah, just a simple drawstring bag. That's in there. I'll actually put that in my bag over here. The last work in progress I also started today, and I actually struggled to separate the sleeves just so I could was at a good place to show you. And I'm really excited about this actually. It's looking really cute, though I am a little worried about it, but not really, I don't know. And it is this sweater. Look at it. It's so pretty. So I have the pattern. This is the Everyday Pullover by Rhea Budrevic. Probably butchered that, but it's blissfulknits.com. And this is the pattern. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. It's got this striped yoke, and then you do some striping at the cuffs and the hem. I've already decided due to yarn. I'm a little worried about yardage. I'm going to do the I'm gonna eliminate the striping and just do ribbing, 1x1 rib for the cuff and the hem. And okay, so I'm knitting the second to last size in the pattern, which is supposed to be a 6-year size. The recipient for the sweater is 4. He's a stout little guy, but I want him to get some wear out of this sweater, so I'm really kind of concerned about size. My gauge is a little off. And I talked about yarn. So had I used this gray for the main color and striped with the blue, I would have been fine. I would have had more than enough. But I really wanted to use the blue for the mane. So because of that, I'm going to use the blue just for the body and the sleeves, and then stripe with the gray. The yarn I'm using for the gray is I Love This yarn in light gray, and then Yarn BID in the bluestone colorway. I have 2 skeins of this. Got 2 skeins of this. This comes in 200 gram skeins as it is. So had I used this for my main color, I would have been fine. But alas alack, I wanted blue. So here it is. I love it. So there is a mistake in the pattern. It's not a very big mistake. It's easily fixed. It's just like one little thing wrong. So for the bigger sizes, like this pattern repeat, how it's the circular yoke is done, it's split into these slices. So the pattern states for the size I have and the other size, I guess these are the biggest sizes in the pattern, you have 8 stitches in this slice to start with for your increases, but the pattern repeat only has it listed for 7 stitches. So it's very simple. I think all I would have had to do was like instead of knit 6 stitches, then slip this one, knit 7, slip 1. But at the time I just decided to, for that extra stitch, I would just have this column of 2 slip stitches, which I don't think that's what she wanted. I think you're only supposed to do 1 slip stitch. I look at the pattern picture and I think it's only supposed to be 1. But I just decided because of this extra stitch hanging out, I would just do 2. It's not a big error. I mean, it's... I can see why the error is there. Like, it's literally just 1 stitch misplaced. You would either have to knit that stitch or slip that stitch. I chose to slip it. And it's not a big deal. It's fine. But what kind of bugs me is you do 2x2 ribbing, and because I slipped 2 stitches instead of 1, it's kind of very obvious that it's like missing. You can see the ribbing and the column don't line up. In a perfect world, had I realized I was going to be slipping 2 stitches instead of the 1 stitch detail, like fixing the pattern for that, I would have made sure to line them up, but I didn't want to rip back. And I thought it doesn't really matter, it's not going to bother me. It kind of bothers me a little bit, but I'm thinking since I'm going to do the hems of the cuff and the hem of the body in gray, I'll do it in 1x1 rib in gray, and then I'll go back and remove this collar, do a 1x1 rib in gray, just to kind of fix it. You know, it doesn't really matter. No one's going to notice except me, I think. But I kind of want to, I'll probably end up doing that. So another thing I'll say about the pattern is another modification I made. I did omit an increase round because my gauge is off. I do think the sleeves are very big. I think I do a little decreasing before knitting the rest of the sleeves. And I'm a little worried about that. Like, it's very even. It's a very even sweater. Like, it's very... This is your front, this is your sleeve, this is your back, this is your other sleeve, and the stitch count is roughly the same, other than the stitches I cast on the underarm. And I cast on twice as much on the underarm. I was supposed to cast on 2. I cast on 4, just to make up for the fact that I omitted a round of increases. I think I actually have more than I'm supposed to, more stitches than I'm supposed to on the needle. I don't remember. It looks small. But according to how many stitches I have, it should be actually bigger than I originally intended. Then had I followed the pattern perfectly, it's actually bigger than it should be. So I don't know. I'm a little worried, but I think it'll be fine. I mean, I have it on a 24-inch needle, and it's a little bunched up. You can kind of see it's a little bunched up. So we'll see. I'll knit it. Keep going. Worst case scenario, it won't be for the intended recipient, which is kind of sad because this is kind of perfect for him. He's a little boy of 4 years old, my cousin, but I don't know. It's really pretty. It's a cute sweater, and it was really fun to do. Like, this yoke just flew, partly because I was rushing because I wanted to have it at this point to talk to you about. But yep, I'm using size 9 needles, and yeah, that's all there is to say about it. Hopefully it'll be the size I think it will be. Like, this should measure 30 inches around, which should be enough. I think I get, like with kids sweaters, I don't want to make them too small, but I don't want to make them too big so that it's ridiculous for them to wear them now, because then it'll get tossed in the closet and forgotten about, and then they won't be able to wear it at all. But that's where we are with this. So I actually only need this skein. Put this aside until I need to knit the cuffs. Okay. Get my pattern away. That is all the works in progress I have, all the making content. Yeah. So a little bit of a design. I still have my garter stitch sock collection up for pre-order. This is the last week to get it at any kind of discount. The last sock pattern to the collection, the kick strip socks, will be added this Friday, October 1st, and then the pre-order will end. So if you are interested in some garter stitch socks, just go to my Ravelry Shop. The garter stitch sock collection will be right there. It's still available at a discount. So if you're looking for garter stitches for fun vanilla socks, but a step up of vanilla socks, check them out. They are really fun patterns. So I won't show them again, partly because it's getting late and I need to wrap this up. So it's been quite a week. I've actually taken a little bit of a break from I was posting 3 times a week on YouTube, but I did take a little bit of a break this week, just to kind of catch up on some things, and I've been filming a lot of tutorials and just planning a lot of fun things that are coming soon. So that's all there is to talk about. We are coming to the end of another month, which I feel like September, I was so surprised when September started, and now I'm so surprised that it's ended, but that's what it is. Time seems to fly, though it really doesn't at other times. I'm a rambling mess, so I'm just going to stop here. Please take a moment to comment down below what you were working on. I would love to hear about it. And yeah, if you enjoyed this podcast, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Happy crafting!